While the attentions of Sigmar were focused on the travails of the twin-tailed crusade, the Skaven executed a cunning scheme, a series of rituals that have thoroughly corrupted the magical ley lines of the mortal realms. The end result was a cataclysmic event known as the Vermin Doom, in which the nightmare Skaven metropolis of Blight City was partially transported from its sub-realm, with the largest chunk violently shifting into Akshi in an apocalyptic explosion. In an instant, the mortal realms were mutilated, chimneys and towers of brass and wood smashing through the bedrock and mountains, and coils of greenish warp lightning scouring the land around them. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Miniatures Tavern. My name is Watts, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Skaven Spearhead Gnawfeast Clawpack. Now, the Skaven Gnawfeast Clawpack is part of the new Skaventide box that just launched. The unit composition for this Spearhead is you're going to get one Clawlord on Gnawbeast. He's going to be your general. You're going to get one Gray Seer. You're going to get one Warlock Engineer. You're going to get one 10-man unit of Clan Rats, a second 10-man unit of Clan Rats, and 3 Rat Ogres. It's going to give you a total of 26 models, and you're looking at a total of 770 points. Pretty chunky. The Stormcast one came in, I think, at around 900 and change, so this one is chunky as well. Price for the Skaventide box, again, this is the only place you can get these models as of recording this video. On Games Workshop, the box is going to cost you $265. On Amazon, you can find it for $225.25. And on eBay, you can find it anywhere from $198 to $225.25. And remember, as always, if you're looking to pick it up on Amazon, please check out the affiliate link down below. When you click on that and you make a purchase, it helps support our channel, helps allow me to continue to make videos like this for you guys. So let's jump in. Skaven Gnawfeast Clawpack. When the Skaven swarm across the realms, it is a vision drawn from apocalyptic texts. They are famine and rabid hunger made manifest, a chittering tide that drags down anything in their path. Even a compartmentally small pack of Skaven can triumph through the weight of frenzied numbers. This is embodied by the Gnawfeast Clawpacks, swarms of ratmen who surge forward in a manic need to devour, defile, and otherwise bring to ruin. Gnawfeast Clawpacks rely on numbers to carry the day. Clan Rats are an imminently disposable force sent to overwhelm foes alongside frenzied Rat Ogres. Their leaders are anything but subtle. The Clawlords that rule the Clan Rats swarms are cunning strategists and know just where to sacrifice their warriors to grind down the enemy, before riding in themselves to tip the balance and claim the credit. A Clawlord will be attended by advisors, both the magic-wielding Grey Seer and the Warlock Engineers of the clans, Skyer, who offer unpredictable but deadly fire support. All of these verminous potents are out to undermine one another, of course, but this only serves to ensure that the sharpest rise to the top. And then we have a quote from the Clawlord Muskrat of Clan Fang. Man things die. Short things die. Elf things die. All things die. Our time now, yes, yes. Doom comes to gnaw on the surface world. So moving on into the meat and potatoes of this Spearhead box, we're going to jump in and take a look at battle traits. Now, battle traits, if you're used to playing 40k, you'll know that battle traits are like army rules. So for this Skaventide box, you have 2 battle traits. The first one is a once per battle ability that you can use in your deployment phase, and that one is called the Lurking Vermintide. You can pick a friendly unit that has not been deployed to be the target, and the effect is the target unit is set up in reserves in the tunnels below. Units in the tunnels below that have not used the Gnawhole Ambush ability by the end of the third battle round are destroyed. And again, this is during your deployment phase. And then your next battle trait you can use in your movement phase, and this is called Gnawhole Ambush. You're going to pick a friendly unit that is in the tunnels below to use this ability, and that's going to allow you to set up that unit wholly within 6 inches of a corner of the battlefield and more than 9 inches away from all enemy units. So that's pretty neat. You got some ambush tactics here for your Skaventide, for your Spearhead. Next, we're going to take a look at the Regiment and Enhancement abilities. Now, from these, you're going to just be able to pick one, but it's nice that they give you some options and some flexibility. Like I've mentioned in my other videos, this is a time and this is the phase where you kind of add flavor to your army. You could try different abilities and enhancements each time you play to try to find something that really works for you. So let's first take a look at the regiment abilities. Once per battle in your shooting phase, you can do warpstone laced bullets. You're going to pick a ranged weapon a friendly unit is armed with, and that weapon has critical mortals this phase. Very nice. You also have a passive ability, Too Quick to Hit. No mortal damage is inflicted on friendly units when they use the retreat abilities. So remember, in New Age of Sigmar, whenever you retreat, you have to roll some dice and you take damage to that unit, which could lead to eliminating some models. So it's really nice that retreat or fall back in parentheses has a consequence. I kind of like that element to it. But this is going to let you skip that. So you have one ability that is per battle, once per battle, and you have an ability that is passive that applies to your army at all times. Next, we're going to take a look at the enhancements. Now, you can give your general one of these following enhancements. The first one is a reaction, and you're going to use it when you declared the Call for Reinforcements ability. That ability is called Lead the Seething Horde, and the effect is, instead of using the setup instructions in the Call for Reinforcements ability, the replacement unit can be set up wholly within 13 inches of this unit, not in combat. So this is going to allow you to deploy those guys in the tunnels wholly within 13 inches of your general, which is pretty nice. Next is a passive ability called Warpstone Charm, and the effect of that is you're going to subtract one from save rolls for enemy units in combat with your general. So that's pretty cool. Whenever your general's in combat, your opponent is going to subtract one from the save rolls. Pretty dope. Your next passive ability that you could choose is called Skyer Connections, and this is a passive ability. The effect is your general's Rattling Pistol has an attacks characteristic of 2d6 instead of d6. So you're basically going to double the attacks on your general's pistol there. That is a passive trait, so that's going to last throughout the entire battle. And then finally, the last passive enhancement that you're going to be able to choose is called Cloak of Stitched Victories, and that's going to give your general a ward 5 up. Now remember, wards are like feel no pains. After the attacks are resolved and you know how much damage is going to be inflicted on your model, if your model has a ward, you can roll those dice, and for every 5 or 6, you're going to shake that damage, right? So pretty good. You've got some offensive capabilities here. You've got some defensive capabilities here. You've got some reinforcement capabilities here. And you've got some debuff enhancements here. So pretty nice. It's nice and rounded. Pretty cool. So you get to pick one of each, a regiment or an enhancement. And like I said, play around with it. You know, try a couple one time, try it the other way the next time, just to try to see what you like in order to fine-tune your army. So let's go ahead and jump into the War Scrolls. And I got to tell you, I'm really digging the artwork in new AOS, the scrolls, the tomes that were all free to download on the Warhammer community site. The artwork is just really, really nice. But let's jump into the Spearhead War Scroll cards. First, we're going to take a look at the Clawlord on Gnawfeast. Now, he has 7 health. He moves 9 inches, he saves on 4 ups, and he has 2 control points. So that's kind of nice. He is armed, his range weapon, the Rattling Pistol. It's got a 10-inch range. He gets D6 attacks, but remember, we can add that enhancement that's going to double his attacks. He hits on 3s, he wounds on 3s. He has Rend 1, which is like AP and 40k, and does 1 damage. But his pistol also has the ability Crit, Auto Wound, and he can shoot in combat. So if you roll critical rolls, which is usually a 6, it's gonna auto wound. And when he's in engagement range, he can shoot that. His melee weapons, first he has the Warpforged Halberd. It gets 5 attacks. It hits on 3s. It wounds on 4s. It's got Rend 1 and 2 damage. And then the Gnawfeast is going to get 4 attacks. Hits on 4s, wounds on 3s, Rend 1, and damage D3. And he has the Companion keyword, which means he doesn't benefit from like any extras or modifiers or anything like that. He just gets some straight out attacks. Your Warlord's passive ability is Cornered Rat. While this unit is damaged, add 3 to the attacks characteristic of its Warpforged Halberd. So if he takes even 1 damage, he gets 8 attacks. All right, awesome. His keywords are Hero, Cavalry, and he has a 6 ward. Awesome. Next up, we have the Gray Seer, and this looks like he's going to be your wizard. He's got 5 health, moves 6 inches, he saves on 6s, and he has 2 control points. He is armed with the Warpstone Staff. It gets 3 attacks. He hits on 4s, he wounds on 4s. It's got Rend 1, damage D3, and he has 2 abilities that you can pop off, both in your hero phase. One is called the Will of the Horned Rat, and you're going to pick a unit wholly within 13 inches of this unit to be the target, then roll a dice. And on a 3 up, you're going to add the roll to the target's control score until the start of your next turn. So really nice objective control buff there. And then he has another ability or spell that he can cast, and this one is called Wither. You're going to pick a visible enemy unit within 13 inches of this unit to be the target, and then you're going to make a casting roll of 2d6, so 2 dice. And if those 2 dice add up to a 6 or higher, you're going to inflict D3 mortal damage on the target. Cool. And his keywords are Hero, Wizard, and Infantry. So you've got 1 ability that buffs, 1 spell that'll buff, and 1 spell that attacks. I like that. I love that dynamic. It's really nice. It really allows you to cater to the situation that you're in as the game develops, whether you need a little more control, objective control, and whether you need a little more blasting power. Really nice. Next up, we have the Warlock Engineer. He has 5 health. He moves 6 inches. He's going to save on 5s. And he has 2 control points. He has 2 weapons. The first weapon is called the Warlock Musket. It's got a 24-inch range, 2 attacks, hitting and wounding on 3s, Rend 2, and damage is D3, and if you roll any crits or any 6s, he also auto wounds. And then his melee weapon is the Warpforged Dagger with 3 attacks, hitting and wounding on 4s, no rend, but it's got damage 2. Now he has a reaction ability. You declared a shoot ability for this unit, and it has not used a move ability this turn. So it looks like this can go pop off when he stands still. more warp energy. Roll a dice. On a 2-up, set the damage characteristic of its Warlock musket to 3 this phase. On a 1, though, you're going to inflict D3 mortal damage to this unit. So he could still shoot, he just can't move. So if you need some extra punch, it kind of reminds me of, you know, the plasma weapons in 40k. So there you go. He pretty much has, you know, plasma. Cool. His keywords are hero and infantry. Next up, we've got the clan rats, the expendable units in your army. They have 1 health, they move 6 inches, they save on 5s, and they have 1 control point. They are equipped with rusty blades. You're going to get 2 attacks. They're hitting on 4s, they're wounding on 5s, they're doing 1 damage. Their ability is Seething Swarm, and this pops off at the end of any turn. You can return D3 slain models to this unit, and they do have the reinforcements tag right here, so keep that in mind, right? You can use an ability. It is once per game, because we used it when we played the other day, that you can bring a number of models back. So that's kind of cool. And finally, finally we have the Rat Ogres. Now, they have health 4, they move 6 inches, they save on 5s, and they have 1 control point. They are equipped with Warp Fire Gun. They got a 10-inch range. They're 2d6 attacks, which is really nice. They hit on 2s, they wound on 4s, they have Rend 2 and 1 damage. They can shoot in combat, so when they're engaged, you can still fire these weapons. And then their melee weapons is they have claws, blades, and fangs. They're going to get 5 attacks. They hit on 4s, they wound on 3, they have Rend 1 and damage 2. And then we have a little note here. This unit has 2 Rat Ogres armed with claws, blades, and fangs, and 1 Rat Ogre armed with a Warp Fire Gun and claws, blades, and fangs. So you're only going to get 1 gun, but it's pretty chunky, so that's kind of cool. And then their ability is any combat phase, once per battle, Unleashed Warp Fury. Inflict D3 mortal damage on this unit, then add 1 to the attacks characteristic of its melee weapons this phase. Ouchie. Okay, I don't know if you want to use that, but there you go. You have to take the D3 mortal damage to get 1 attack for melee. So that would put you at 6 attacks each, 6, 12, 18 attacks. Might be worth it in a pinch, but it's nice to know you have that option. There you go. And finally, guys, let's fire up the AI program. Let's feed it all the Spearhead data cards for the Skaven, and let's take a look at the SWOT analysis. We're going to look at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats of this Spearhead box. Let's start with strengths. Number 1, strengths, numerical superiority. The Gnawfeast Clawpack relies on overwhelming numbers of clan rats, which can swarm the battlefield and control multiple objectives through sheer volume. Their next strength is versatile deployment. Abilities like the Lurking Vermintide and Gnawhole Ambush allow for flexible and strategic deployment, enabling the Skaven to surprise opponents and exploit weak points in their lines. Next, they have high mobility. Units such as the Clawlord on Gnawbeast and Warlock Engineer provide rapid movement across the battlefield, allowing for quick repositioning and responsive tactics. And then powerful abilities and enhancements. This one is a bonus. The army benefits from potent abilities and enhancements such as Warpstone Laced Bullets for deadly ranged attacks and Skyer Connections for enhanced firepower. And finally, resilient leadership. The Clawlord and Seer offer strong leadership and command abilities that boost the effectiveness of nearby units, enhancing their combat abilities and survivability. Weaknesses of this box, first of all, is low durability. Many Skaven units, like the Clan Rats, have low health and save characteristics, making them vulnerable to high damage attacks and attrition. Dependence on synergy. The effectiveness of the Skaven army relies heavily on the synergies between units and their proximity to key leaders, which can be disrupted by focused attacks or tactical maneuvers from opponents. Third weakness is risky abilities. Some abilities, such as more warp energy from the Warlock Engineer, carry inherited risks that can backfire and cause self-inflicted damage, potentially weakening the army at crucial moments. And fourth, mixed quality of units. The army includes a mix of high-impact units and less effective fodder, requiring careful management to ensure that the right units are in the right place at the right time. Opportunities for this spearhead is surprise tactics. Utilizing ambush and reserve abilities can catch opponents off guard, allowing the Skaven to exploit gaps in enemy defenses and achieve key objectives unexpectedly. Objective control. With their large numbers and flexible deployment, the Skaven can effectively contest and control multiple objectives, gaining an advantage in scenario-based play. Exploiting weaknesses. The Skaven's ability to deploy and move quickly enables them to target and exploit weaknesses in the opponent's formation, concentrating their forces where they can do the most damage. And finally, last opportunity is maximizing damage output. Enhancements and abilities that boost the damage potential of units, such as Warpstone-laced bullets and Unleashed Warp Fury, can turn Skaven units into formidable threats that can decimate enemy units. And then finally, let's take a look at some threats to this spearhead. Targeted elimination of key units is probably going to be the biggest threat. Opponents may focus on eliminating key leaders and units that provide crucial buffs and command abilities, undermining the Skaven's effectiveness. Attrition warfare is the next threat. Prolonged engagements can wear down the Skaven's numerical advantage, especially if key units are lost early or if the army faces sustained high damage attacks. Disruption of synergies. Strategies that disrupt the Skaven's unit synergies and positioning can significantly reduce their combat effectiveness and ability to control the battlefield. And finally, high damage opponents. Armies with strong high damage units and abilities can quickly deplete the Skaven's ranks, making it difficult for them to maintain their numerical superiority and battlefield presence. In conclusion, though, the Skaven Gnawfeast Clawpack in Spearhead mode offers a versatile and numerically superior force with high mobility and powerful abilities. However, the army's success depends on careful management of synergies, protection of key units, and effective use of its deployment and ambush tactics. By leveraging its strengths and mitigating potential threats, the Skaven can be a formidable and unpredictable opponent on the battlefield. And there you have it, guys. Woo! The overview for the Skaven Spearhead box Gnawfeast Clawpack. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Are you excited about playing Skaven? I'm actually building them right now. I took a break building to make this video, and as soon as I'm done, I'm going to go back to building. I'm looking forward to playing them. I've already have a large Stormcast Eternals army from the previous version, so it is pretty neat to play something different. I love the models, the way that you can put them together, relatively easy, and I'm really looking forward to getting them painted up and get them on the battlefield. Coming this weekend, we're gonna start doing Spearhead games for you guys, so tune in for that. Spearhead battle reports. Are you playing Spearhead? Let me know in the comments. Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments. And I really appreciate you guys reaching out and suggesting factions for future videos. I have listened to you guys, and we got more factions coming out in the future. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Watts, and I will see you in the next video.